Good morning. It's Jane Mizrahi. I'm a licensed independent clinical social worker and a registered yoga teacher in the School of Trauma Cooperative Yoga. Welcome to this morning. I am inspired to offer a teaching on another colossal topic of the inner child. I'm inspired, as I say, the inner child, to bring my hands of compassion. I warm these hands up and I create them as hands of compassion to the inner child within. And the teaching is stemming from this awareness that so many of us abdicate or walk away from that inner child as an adult, because that inner child, and this comes from other teachings as well, just didn't quite get their needs met. And as an adult, I'm finding myself wanting to slow down. As an adult, perhaps it is our responsibility to honor that inner child in ways that inner child's needs weren't met, perhaps. So how does that look in the body? Because it's such a big cognitive topic, I'm inspired to start this morning with some body work. So join me on the mat. And again, I'm outdoors, so pretty. So I'm going to do the best I can to show you what my body might look like as I start in a cat-cow. So hands shoulder width apart. My knees are hip distance apart, and this is called table. I'm taking a deep breath here through the nose. I'm just feeling the connection of my hands on the mat and my knees on the mat. And I am beginning to do an arch and a concave or a cat and a cow. Nice and slowly. And I'm feeling my body in ways that perhaps I never have. So I'm slowing the cat-cow down to feel muscles and movement in my body exquisitely. Meaning, what does it feel like to be me? What does it feel like to be you in this moment as you move the spine that holds you up through all the pain and all the pleasure on this planet as you walk your journey? Cat-cow, rinsing out the spine. And from here, I'm extending my hands further than my shoulders, and I'm bringing my toes to the ground, and I'm pushing up, I'm pushing my feet back into a plank. So I'm adjusting so that my shoulders are above my wrists. And this is a plank. Now you might find this challenging because it's a strong position where we say, here's my strength. This inner child is finding her strength or his strength or their strength in this moment. And I'm dropping my knees to the ground to share with you how you can find ease in this moment. You might stay here for a moment and you might lift your knees up when you're ready and say, I am enough. This inner child, I am enough. I can honor you, dear child. I can honor you. I'm feeling my strength here. And I'm dropping my knees this time and I'm bringing my buttocks, I'm adjusting as I need to, back to my heels. Some of you may grab a block or a pillow to put here so that you don't have to go as far down if there's any resistance. I am extending my arms ahead of me and I'm bringing my buttocks to my heels. This is child's pose or easy resting pose. You might bring your hands in closed hands to rest your forehead on this pillow that we create. You might extend your arms in front or in back. So that inner child gets to choose. You get to choose. This is your choice. It's such a small choice and you make it. I'm making the choice to make pillows with my hands to keep my neck straight from my spine without coming down. And I'm staying here for 3 breaths with a mental mantra that that honors my inner child. What might that inner mantra be for you? A positive mental mantra. I'm sharing mine, and it's spontaneous. It's coming from my heart. And my inner mantra is, you are enough. I love you. Please trust that I will take care of you. You are enough. I love you. Please trust that I will take care of you. And I'm breathing through my nose for parasympathetic rest and digest, saying to myself my mantra, as well as the knowing that in this moment I am safe. And I invite you to safety. I trust that you're here because you are safe. So we're reinforcing that message in this moment in time, right here. Breathing, safe. I am enough. I am love, and I am trusting to take care of myself. And as I do this, I'm coming up to look at you. I'm softening my belly and I'm softening my face. I'm taking the stress out of my face. I'm rolling the eyes toward the third eye, that place between the eyes. And I'm visualizing that pineal gland sending out messages from body to mind and mind to body. This moment, I am enough. And I'm coming up to meet you. I'm putting the block under my buttocks for support so that my sits bone can come down. HAH breath, relieving the stress of the moment. My heart is extended. I'm breathing. And I'm focusing on the noises in the room. For me, it's outside. The inner child wants to be able to distinguish between old thoughts and messages, what I call, or what we call introjects. Those are messages that were glommed onto us from childhood. Maybe, I'm going to say them because it's universal. Perhaps you were told you were lazy or fat. Perhaps you were told you weren't the right sexuality as you grew older, or even gender. Perhaps you were told you were ugly. Perhaps. So I'm noticing my mat. So I'm inspired so I'm sitting, and I don't want to stand up right now. So I'm going to bring my forefingers to the front and my thumbs behind me. And I'm using this motion. So it's twisting again. My spine is rinsing out old messages. Dear inner child, those were never true. And this mat, this space that I am taking up, I deserve. I am love. I am enough. In this moment, I remind my nervous system, this is my time. This is my space. And I'm bringing my hands with a little warmth to my heart and my solar plexus. I'm hugging myself with my elbows. And I'm remembering that I have the choice right now to settle my body, to settle my nervous system, to let the messages from the nervous system come back to the brain that say here and now. So to discern between there and then, where those messages were sent that were never real, and here and now, that I can now begin to message myself. Perhaps I can ask if those people that said those messages are still alive, and even if they're not, and they are receptive. Many of our parents are not. We could say, actually, I need in this moment for you to, if we get old messages today, I'm not going to listen to those messages anymore. They're not true. I know my truth. I'm coming into my truth. Perhaps you have a parent or a loved one that is more receptive. I need to remember that I am love. I know that I am love. And what's most important is that we get to send those messages inward. There's a teaching called As If. So you might be thinking to yourself, you know what, dude, I don't believe that yet. And I get that, because how can we get it if we didn't hear it? But at any given moment in time, we get to message to ourselves what we need to hear. Maybe we journal it. Maybe we write down, these are the messages I heard, and we make new messages that are more affirming and truthful. And I'm thinking now that when we make choices that don't end up honoring our true self, we end up feeling bad about ourselves. So I'm bringing my hands here, prefrontal cortex and amygdala, back of the brain. And I'm saying, slow me down to the back of the brain. I don't need to rush anymore and make old pattern decisions, dear child. I'm bringing my prefrontal cortex back online because when I get stressed, it's offline, and I'm breathing through the nose. And I'm messaging to this body, this beautiful body as it is. Go slowly, dear child. Come from love. Come from what your needs are. And when you make a mistake, forgive yourself. I'm reaching my arms up to the sky with my hands extended. My heart is out, and I'm looking up to the universe, and I'm saying, dear universe, have my back. Help me take care of myself. Help me make choices that honor this inner child. And I'm breathing here for 2 more breaths. If this is too much, you might bring your hands to your hips. I'm enjoying the fire here and also the gazing up and the breathing in through the nose. And I'm smiling, a gentle smile. It's coming from within, that I am honoring my inner child. And I'm inviting you to do that too. So I'm looking at you now and I'm bringing my hands back down. May we universally begin 1 breath at a time to honor this inner child. Perhaps you find a photo and you take it and you put it on your phone. Perhaps you make it as your lock screen. And the intention here is to honor that 5-year-old that didn't get her needs met, or his needs met, or their needs met. And the intention is that you, here and now, as you meet with me in this body, in this moment, breathing through the nose, opening your heart, and if you want to, bringing 1 hand here to hold yourself in compassion. That you will remember her or him or them with increasing grace, because breaking patterns is difficult. If we're used to self-hatred, it's an automatic response, but it doesn't, or reaction, and it doesn't need to be. We want to move from reaction to response, and a response is more thoughtful. This video, the invitation is to bring into the body and the mind connections that honor that inner child. I'm trying to think about what else my body needs. Yes, I'm wanting to twist. And as I twist to both left and right, I'm going to look around the space that I'm in and say, right here and now, I honor you, child. And with twisting, we're again rinsing the spine, and we're also using the eyes, which our vagus nerve runs through the eyes, that look around and say, right here and now, safe. And again, the teaching, the hope, the honoring is that you are finding your own safety. So I'm twisting all the way to the left, and I'm opening my heart, and I'm raising the arm up to the sky. As I twist left, my right arm is up. And I'm breathing through the nose for 2 breaths here. And I'm noticing, I hope you can hear me. I'm noticing that I am safe as I turn slowly around and bring that right arm down. Always both sides in yoga. Actually, I'm going to twist left. Twisting right, sorry. And I'm raising my left arm up to the sky. And I'm smiling at the imperfection of this moment, and the inner child wants to be embarrassed, and I'm honoring the inner child as I bring my hand to my heart to say, life isn't perfect. I'm showing up for you as best that I can at this moment. Breathing through the nose, I'm in here now, and I'm going to rub my hands together, and this time I'm bringing them to my low back. The low back holds a lot of angst, an old pain, and I'm supporting myself. So I'm bringing the heels of my hand into my crevices in the hip area and just rinsing out. Now I'm using my fingertips in my low back, and I'm inviting you to do the same. H-A-H breath, and I'm beginning to sweep now from the mid back down to the low back and saying, release old messages that are no longer true, dear child. You are enough, you are love. And I'm sweeping down my thighs, and I'm taking my thumbs and I'm bringing them into my feet as I reinforce those messages from feet going into legs. I'm rubbing my hands together again, and we're closing here as we bring that heat and compassion into this moment, breathing through the nose. Gazing that down to quiet the nervous system. And I'm bringing my legs to crisscross. I'm putting, so this is interesting, we've done this before, the opposite. So I'm usually right leg in front of left. I'm bringing left leg in front of right. Why? To change patterns in the body is an invitation to change patterns in the mind. If that's difficult for you, you might put 2 pillows under your legs. And as I sit here, I'm going to do 3 ohms right now. In the ohms, we are internalizing the practice. In the ohms, we are internalizing the messaging. I am enough despite my pain. I am enough despite the messages that I may have heard. I am enough despite those in my life now that interfere with my wellness. I come to this moment, to this body, and I say Om. We say Om together 3 times if you're inspired to join me in honor of the inner child. What do you want to do with your hands, dear inner child? Do you want them resting down on your knees, which helps maintain the nervous system, or up to receive with a mudra, or a little boss action here on the hips, or asking the universe? Lots of choices here. I don't mean to overwhelm you, but what we're looking for is that inner child knows how to put their hands in this moment. There's no right or wrong. You've heard that perhaps. There's one way to do things. I honor you. And in some cases in the world, of course there is, but in this moment, place your hands where they best serve you. I feel like being a boss person. So my hands are on my hips with my thumbs pushing into my low back. I'm feeling strong and powerful. And I'm breathing through the nose, and then I'm going to start our 3 ohms together. And before we close, I'm going to teach you one more thing. Please take your, if you would like to join me, your ring and your middle finger to your 3rd eye, or that place between the eyes, to the prefrontal cortex. And I'm going to introduce alternate nostril breathing. And the reason we're doing this is to balance the brain. I'm challenging old messages to balance the brain through left-right breathing. Left-right breathing is shown to bring balance to brain and to body as we breathe. So it looks like this. In through the left breath, in through the left nostril. Hold it with the pinky and lift the thumb up and breathe out the right nostril. Breathe in through the right nostril. Hold with your thumb and breathe out your pinky side. Breathe in your pinky side. Breathe out your thumb side. Breathe in your thumb side. Breathe out your pinky side. You're holding the prefrontal cortex. Breathe in your pinky side. Breathe out your thumb side. Breathe in your thumb side. Breathe out your pinky side. Breathe in your pinky side. Breathe out your thumb side. And bring your hands down and just notice what's happening in your body now. The pause is the moment that we just get curious instead of judgmental. The pause is what we're developing to respond instead of react. The pause is the moment we honor this moment rather than old messaging. The pause is a blessing. And I'm breathing through the nose and I'm feeling more balanced, and I'm inviting you to do the same. I'm noticing the wind in the screen behind me, and I'm feeling inspired that I walked into this gentle rain for you, for me. Bringing my hands together, thumbs to the sternum. Namaste. The light in me honors the light in you. May your inner child find its sustenance, its love, its remembering that your inner child is enough. Please meet that inner child perhaps in the morning when you wake up. I see you, I love you. In the evening before you go to sleep, I see you, I love you. And then begin to step one foot in front of the other and do the next right thing. Namaste.